In the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and when He made people in His image. God is to be praised and God is to be feared. He is the creator of all things, and we never worship what was created, we worship the creator. The thing about this is, if you don't know God, you will find yourself worshiping yourself or something else that He's created, and you will find yourself boasting in yourself. But He is the creator of everything, and He is the one that's worthy to be praised. And there's a few times in the Bible where He had to make Himself known to different people, and when He did that, y'all, He shows His majesty, He shows His strength, and He shows that He is not to be reckoned with. You do not want to be on that side where God has to show and prove to you who He is, because it's an ugly situation. One situation which I have been talking about for the last couple of days is when God sent Moses to Pharaoh to let the Israelites go, and the Israelites were doing things for Pharaoh. He had them enslaved. They were building things for him, and he was profiting from them. So, of course, he did not want to let them go. He's like, let them go. These people are under my control. Who is the Lord? I don't know the Lord. He even got to looking in the book of pagan gods that he had, trying to find out who the Lord was. But it wasn't mentioned in the book of pagan gods. But when the Lord showed His majesty to him, when the Lord showed His strength to him through all of the trials that he went through, all of the plagues that was sent to him, he knew exactly who the Lord was, and the Lord was able to get praise from it. These were plagues from, water turning to blood, bumps and boils all over the body, the death of the livestock that was in the fields, death of the firstborns, plagues of locusts, flies and frogs, just pestilence. And after all of this, he knew that God controlled. Not only was He the God of the Israelites and the Hebrews, but He was God of heaven and earth and all of the elements, the insects, the water, and everything. He was in control. Pharaoh lost his whole army and the horses and the chariots, finding out who God was. He could have lost his life. Another person this happened to was King Nebuchadnezzar. He was a king who boasted in himself, and he did not know the Lord. Nebuchadnezzar II, known as Nebuchadnezzar the Great, was the second king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, ruling from 605 to 562 BC, and is often referred to as the King of Kings due to his vast dominion and military campaigns. King of Kings. That's trouble right there in itself, because the Lord is the King of Kings. All of this takes place in the book of Daniel, chapter 4, 25 through 35. King Nebuchadnezzar, you will be forced to go away from people. You will live among the wild animals. You will eat grass like cattle, and you will become wet with dew. 7 seasons will pass, and then you will learn this lesson. You will learn God Most High rules over human kingdoms and gives them to whoever He wants. The command to leave the stump of the tree and its roots in the ground means this: your kingdom will be given back to you. This will happen when you learn that the Most High God rules over your kingdom. So, King, please accept my advice. Stop sinning and do what is right. Stop doing bad things and be kind to poor people. Then you might continue to be successful. All these things happened to King Nebuchadnezzar 12 months after the dream. King Nebuchadnezzar was walking on the roof of his palace in Babylon. While on the roof, the king said, "Look at Babylon. I built this great city. It is my palace. I built this great place with my power. I built this place to show how great I am. The words were still in his mouth when a voice came from heaven. The voice said, King Nebuchadnezzar, these things will happen to you. Your power as king has been taken away from you. You will be forced to go away from people. You will live with the wild animals and eat grass like an ox. 7 seasons will pass before you learn your lesson. Then you will learn that the God Most High rules over human kingdoms and gives them to whoever he wants. These things happen immediately. Nebuchadnezzar was forced to go away from people. He began eating grass like an ox. He became wet from dew. His hair grew long like the feathers of an eagle, and his nails grew long like the claws of a bird. Then at the end of that time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, looked up towards heaven, and I was in my right mind again. Then I gave praise to God Most High. I gave honor and glory to him who lives forever. God rules forever. His kingdom continues for all generations. People on earth are not really important. God does what he wants with the powers of heaven and the people on the earth. No one can stop his powerful hand or question what he does. Amen. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and glorify the King of heaven, because everything he does is right and all his ways are just, and those who walk in pride he is able to humble. The mighty king was turned to an animal and made to eat grass like an animal and live like an animal until he could recognize who God was. He realized who God was. He gave thanks and he praised God, and he was restored to his right mind. Don't want to be in that situation. It's best to get to know God, draw near to God, and get to know him. Get to know his ways, get to know what he likes, and get to know what he does not like. Nebuchadnezzar lost his mind. There's some people around here that do not have their mind. And God can restore it. Don't get caught up on the wrong side of the living God, because he's all powerful and all he's I can't even words can't even explain. Words can't even explain. But he will humble you. And you don't want to be humbled by God. You have to humble yourself. It's a dangerous thing to be humbled by God. It's a dangerous thing to be in that situation.